Hi, everybody. This is Saad for the Sad Truth. Some of you may remember the 1986 movie, The Name of the Rose, starring Sean Connery and Christian Slater. If you haven't seen it, great movie. Highly recommend it. In the movie, Connery plays a Franciscan monk who goes to a very remote Benedictine monastery. This is happening in the 14th century because he's trying to elucidate a murder mystery, basically. A bunch of monks in that monastery have dropped dead uh, by some mysterious process, and he's trying to solve the riddle. It's a classic sort of whodunit plot line that happens in truly extraordinary setting with with people that very much look as though they belong in the Dark Ages. In any case, the reason why I'm mentioning this film plotline is there's a very powerful scene in the movie. I think it's towards the start of the movie where Sean Connery, I believe, walks in on a monk who is in his Spartan quarters, and he is basically engaging in self-flagellation. Now, one could potentially uh, interpret this as some sort of sexually twisted ritual, but of course, from a Christian theological perspective, it refers to, original sin, the fact that individuals are born sinners, and so on and so forth. Uh, and so there's this overriding guilt at somehow being a sinner, and therefore you try to assuage this via some self-flagellation. Now, why am I mentioning all this? Because, you ready for this? Progressives, quotes progressives in today's discourse, are the kings of self-flagellation. They pray at the altar of self-flagellation. The idea is that you can't be a true progressive unless you exhibit profound cultural self-loathing. That's the way you demonstrate that you are a true progressive. You look inward. Don't worry about what, quote, the others are doing over there far away. Think about the things that your own cultural history is fraught with. So, if we want to talk about the butchering that's happening of the Yazidis in the Middle East, well, we can't talk about that because, the Crusades. If we want to talk about the numerous genocides that are taking place as we speak, well, can we really criticize that? Because after all, we did drop 2 bombs on Japanese cities. And so there is an endless ability for, quote, progressives to, if you like, almost excuse contemporary atrocities by simply pointing to the fact that, we've all committed atrocities. All cultures are bad. All cultures have, skeletons in their closet. Well, of course, in no way am I suggesting that we should ignore or not be concerned with atrocities that have happened to anybody at any time in any place. But if we're talking about contemporary issues, geopolitical issues, for example, it is absolutely illogical to try to deflect the conversation away from the endless global carnage that is being dished out to endless people around the globe by simply saying, but the Crusades. Now, again, the reason for this mindset is because, well, it's very much a virus of the mind. Progressives have somehow, and again, I say progressives in quotes, true progressives fight for individual freedoms. Fake progressives pose under the umbrella of political correctness. And so the fake progressives feel that it is important to not criticize the other because that makes you racist, that makes you bigoted, that makes you intolerant. The way that you demonstrate that you're truly liberal is to look within. It's very much how, say, up to the 1950s or 60s, all people that were part of the intelligentsia would engage in psychoanalysis because every self-respecting intellectual should look inward and should engage in introspection to look at his or her own weaknesses. Now, again, I'm not suggesting that we shouldn't all have introspection. That's certainly a healthy mindset. But to repeatedly excuse unbelievable carnage around the world by pointing to, well, Iraq invasion, well, the Crusades, is suicidal, it's grotesque, and it needs to stop. Spread the word, subscribe to the Sad Truth. Talk to you later. Ciao.